Today we need to talk about people accusing Bang PD of calling Jimin bad and a bad performer. We also have people scared that Jimin might be getting beaten and hurt at the camp due to a video, and then we have BTS being removed and taken down. So Dumplings, it's Dave. Decide hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on, grab your dumplings, hey spilling mug merch, and let's go. We have some sort of sad news that I am a bit torn over, and I really don't have too many opinions on either side. I actually agree with both sides, coming from someone who has studied business in the last few years, as well as someone who is just a fan and wants to see more of BTS. So what happened and what is going on? I need to give some context as to what the fandom does and then how this impacts us now. The fandom loves to create fan-made events for the BTS members. These things can include things like paying for a billboard spot for the BTS members on their birthday. So for example, fans love to buy a billboard spot in Times Square, New York, and then they just put iconic BTS moments on screen and then say happy birthday. It's a way to show support, and it's a way for, if the idol ever goes to New York on their birthday, they can be greeted very unexpectedly. It also serves as a way for fans to also celebrate the idol's birthday or any special occasion. A lot of people in K-pop fandoms will actually buy a cake and celebrate the idol's birthday as their own birthday or a sort of holiday. It might seem weird for someone outside of K-pop, but it's definitely not within K-pop. Other things that occur are things like BTS on buses, or some fan sites will gather a butt ton of money and organize a huge thing where there's a huge balloon figure of Taeyang and then posters and just fun things for any of the fans to do when they see it. People outside of K-pop often think this is something that the label puts together because it doesn't really exist in Western pop fans. But no, these are things organized by fans and rarely ever official events that are held by HYBE. So now that we know what the fandom does and what those moments mean to the fandom, because keep in mind, people's actions are rarely ever completely selfless, they do it because they also get gratification from doing it. Nothing wrong with that at all, but of course it's okay to admit that supporting your favorite person is also something that makes you feel happy. It's not just for the idol's sake, right? Now, there was an event a while ago that generated some controversy. During a celebration for Jin, a fan site had organized a partnership with an airline where they wanted to celebrate Jin by putting his face and a BTS theme on every ticket that was purchased from this airline. Of course, you can see the problem here. People were then purchasing tickets to just get the themed ticket, and then for a lot of people, it made it seem like the airline had been in collaboration with Jin and with HYBE, and also made it seem like Jin has endorsed the airline, when in reality this was not the case. So what happened was HYBE needed to call the brand and cancel this event, because if the airline ever got into a scandal or whatever it was later in the future, it could potentially go back to Jin and make Jin look like he endorses the message of that airline. Well, apparently this issue got even bigger recently, and now almost all BTS events are being looked into and taken down. So I believe a billboard in places like Times Square is probably okay because they're not endorsing anything. However, billboards on a bus or BTS installation on a beach could be seen as endorsing those things, and thus HYBE has asked for those things to be removed. This of course sucks because a lot of fans would use those installations and those things as a way of feeling closer to BTS, or just being happy to be reminded of BTS as they're walking home from school or work. However, I understand HYBE's perspective here. Obviously, taking down these installations overall just protects BTS and protects them from any possible scandals, because I believe the reason they even let these activities happen for so long was because they knew it helped promote the members. But I think they're realizing that safety is more important now, and this will probably be something that will get very mixed reactions from those who don't understand the dangers of not protecting an artist's intellectual property. And I feel like the fandom thrives on hating someone over misunderstandings. Recently, BTS has put out their documentary, and there's been some severe misunderstandings. The documentary, I feel, was supposed to be HYBE's way of trusting the audience. They were trusting that the audience wasn't going to take things out of context, and trusting that the fans understand the people behind BTS and are there for BTS and want BTS to succeed. However, whenever something has enough eyeballs, there's going to be people who get upset. People were upset over Bang PD expressing that when he first met Jimin, that he felt like Jimin was incomplete. People had chucked this up and misunderstood it so badly that they were accusing Bang PD of saying that he believes Jimin has no fans and that they wouldn't object to Bang saying Jimin was incomplete. First off, he's not thinking that Jimin has no fans. He is thinking that people won't misunderstand or misconstrue what he is saying. Second of all, when Jimin started becoming a trainee for BTS, he didn't really have fans. He wasn't famous at the time. And if he was quote-unquote complete, then he wouldn't need the help of HYBE. HYBE felt, and accurately felt, that all the boys needed coaching and training before their debut, and they were 100% right about that because the boys hit the ground running and Jimin had a lot of talent. Bang isn't denying that talent was there. Bang is saying that he personally felt like Jimin needed something else. And what's even stranger about these comments is that if Bang and HYBE didn't give Jimin the training that he got, Jimin wouldn't be where he is now. And this is not something that is coming out of my mouth. The boys have been very vocal about how they needed HYBE and how HYBE has contributed to their success. Bang is not saying that Jimin was in bad condition or was bad in general. He is saying that he personally felt Jimin needed more attention. Bang could be wrong. That is just what Bang felt. And as someone who had been in the industry longer as a successful singer, wouldn't he know? The line right after that sentence, Bang says, "My hunches aren't always right, so I accepted him. I want to stop this whole narrative that HYBE is out to ruin BTS. That makes so little sense to me. So you're telling me that a label that actively relied on BTS for their revenue suddenly decided that they did not want money anymore. They have enough money. They're good." And decided that they no longer want BTS to succeed. BTS being successful does not hurt HYBE, it helps them. BTS succeeding is HYBE being selfish. It is for HYBE as well. There's so many terrible things happening to Jimin. Let's stop the narrative that he needs help with HYBE and start the narrative that he needs help on the internet, because people love to shame and attack him online, and it's very disgusting. There's several hate comments insinuating and saying that Jimin will get hurt in the military, to those saying that they hope that he will die in the military or get beaten. And I'm very curious where these people are located, because the idea that someone in South Korea can die from the military training is odd to me. It's very unlikely, and the military takes extreme measures to make sure people are safe. And so there's no way he can die. He is not going to war. Jimin has the nickname by these haters calling him Pigman, suggesting that he's a pig. And this is disgusting. It's gross that people are wishing him death after being in the military and saying that he is very weak. And there was even people online taking Jimin's comments about the military to say that he might actually be very weak and criticize his ability to hold his own in the military. People are calling him a twink and all these terrible things. I want to talk about that first because calling someone weak and a twink is so beyond offensive outside of BTS, because anyone that looks like Jimin, has that body type, or is slimmer and smaller is going to think that they are just meant to be weak or that they are weak. And this is so messed up when male body image is already so rarely talked about. Many men suffer from body dysmorphia from either being too small or too big, and none of it is ever talked about because the men who are smaller are told to bulk up and be manly and stop complaining and being weak, while the men who are larger and fluffier are told to be a man and slim down. And so these body standards are already hitting men and being consumed by men without them ever feeling okay to vocalize or fight against it. And so when they read these things like this, it just hits them. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but men already don't talk about their feelings. They are not going to vocalize when they read something online that hurts them. They will just internalize it and then develop an eating disorder, both under or overeating, and just do it without ever asking anyone if they actually do need to change their body, which makes it actually more dangerous because no one around them will actually ever know if anything is wrong. Jimin was believed to mention that he is glad to enlist with Jungkook because they can both help protect each other, and this was used against Jimin to say that he is weak and needs protection. However, that is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of just wanting your friends to be around. It's scary to embark on something like that, but Jimin is a dancer and has extremely good core strength. He will literally be fine in the military. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out Patreon for more videos. Link down below. Thanks for this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.